you find is the biggest difference between voice acting in video games and in anime? Are there major differences?
You know, video games have a very, very interesting journey because you follow a different path of each character. And so it's kind of like doing many films. And, excuse me, I'm talking.
We're talking too.
Anyhow, each character has a different through line. And so you follow the through line of the character that you're following. In regular anime, you have a series, and so you have a small chunk. I think a video game is more like doing a film, and actually it's more like doing many films from many different perspectives. And so that's the difference. Insofar as acting is concerned, there is no difference because you want to bring authenticity to whichever part you're doing. And years ago, it used to be that the mode was to do little cartoony voices. And now you want natural voices. You want much more natural voices than you did years ago. And so that's the trend now. It depends upon the project. If you're doing like an anime series like Richard did, then you know, that's just totally whacked and off the wall. But if you're doing most other shows, then you want people who sound like the characters. Like Vic has a great, and Troy does too. They have great young hero voices. And so that's ignore the man behind the curtain. But they've got great young hero voices. And so when we bring them in, because Richard and I have a company called Epcar Entertainment, we bring, yeah, it is a good name. Where did we ever come up? Then when we bring in Vic or Troy, we're bringing them in for their young hero voices, and those are what I call their money voices. That's what they generally get called in, and that's generally what they get booked for. And Richard gets pulled in for the, you know, the strong, authoritarian power voices that, you know, just kill them every time. And I get pulled in for the mom. And everybody's mom. Hello, children.
I just want to add something to that real quick. You know, basically, if we're dubbing something, that means something's already been created, and we're replacing the English dialogue, and so we have to be conscious of the lip flaps and the sync when we're recording it. The difference is in most games, when you're doing a game that's not already created, if you're doing an original game, you're basically just going in and laying down the voice track. So it really is much more free. It's more freeing because you just go in there and do the character, and you don't have to worry about doing the lip sync. So you can just do your performance, and so that in many ways it's a lot more you know, easy to do it that way, and it's a lot more fun, and you can really bring, you know, your own thing to that character.
One of the big differences too is that video games, as you would expect, require a lot of action, a lot of fighting, and playing in-game sounds, like if you get punched, if your character gets hit in the stomach, or if your character's kicking, or if your character's falling off a cliff. And you record all of those sounds, and and so, you know, while you may have those occasionally in episodes of anime, video games in general have a lot more action sounds. And not only just action sounds, but a whole list of them. So, you know, there's a light punch, medium punch, heavy punch, and they want 3 of each one. And then you bow, 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 just go through them very, very quickly. And after about an hour, your voice, you know, you feel that. You don't get as much kind of relaxing between lines and stuff like you would in an anime series. So the action, for me, the action sounds and the effort sounds are, you know, they're pretty challenging because you do so many.
Can I ask something just before you talk?
Okay. I'll block you.
I want to say thank you so much for coming. I have to go, and goodbye, but it was so great to see all of you. Thank you.
All right, so just real quick, 'cause I mean, this is a great question, and even when you asked it, Nick was like, I was wondering how long it was going to take because it's one of the main questions that people ask. Who here has played Uncharted? Okay, Rocket. Yay, I love the game. Never before has that been an underdog game become so successful, right? Because it was a sleeper. It wasn't until PlayStation packaged it with the PS3 that all of a sudden people were like, oh, this game is amazing. And then, of course, the second, I don't know if you guys heard, but the Spike TV Awards, GDC, it completely swept it. That game has completely changed the faces of how video games are made now. Naughty Dog was the studio that made the game. Everyone, and especially in LA, and I'm sure everywhere else, is saying we want to do things now the Naughty Dog way. The way that Uncharted did it was they actually mocapped, performance captured, all of the actors on a stage. The scene where they're like riding down the trail in a Jeep and he's firing, they actually were in a Jeep that was moving, turning around, firing, okay? So it was real. That is, Nate Drake is Nolan North. That character is completely built around him. The Force Unleashed did something very, very similar to where they had no character reference for The Apprentice. They went through headshot for headshot, did a full like film audition process and a voiceover process to find The Apprentice, as well as what's her name, the chick that was in it. Yeah, thank you. And when they found the guy, then they built the model, so it looked exactly like him. If you ever see the guy, he's on CSI or something else, it looks exactly like him. So the way that they're doing games now, and this is every AAA title that's going to be coming out in the next 2 years, is all going to be mocapped. Without like taking the lid off of all the games that are being very secret, you're going to see more and more of that. And to me, films or games are going more cinematic. So the main thing that's between anime and video games now is the way that they're being made. Because anime is still going to be true to, transforming typically a manga into an animated form, and video games are now trying to see how cinematic and realistic they can get.
Which means